Whereas the novel coronavirus, COVID-19, has been recognized globally as a contagious respiratory virus, whereas I, Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas, issued a disaster proclamation on March 13, 2020, certifying that COVID-19 poses an imminent threat of disaster to all counties in the state of Texas, and whereas COVID-19 continues to spread and to pose an increasing imminent threat of disaster throughout Texas, and whereas the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has advised that person-to-person contact heightens the risk of COVID-19 transmission, and whereas the President's Coronavirus Guidelines for America, as promulgated by President Donald J. Trump and the CDC on March 16, 2020, call upon Americans to slow the spread of COVID-19 by avoiding social gatherings in groups of more than 10 people, using drive-through, pickup, or delivery options at restaurants and bars, and avoiding visitation at nursing homes, among other steps. And whereas the Texas Department of State Health Services has now determined that as of March 19, 2020, COVID-19 represents a public health disaster within the meaning of Chapter 81 of the Texas Health and Safety Code, and whereas under the Texas Disaster Act of 1975, the governor is responsible for meeting the dangers to the state and the people presented by disasters under Section 418.001, and the legislature has given the governor broad authority to fulfill that responsibility. Now, therefore, I, Greg Abbott, Governor of Texas, by virtue of the power and authority vested in me by the Constitution and laws of the state of Texas, do hereby order the following on a statewide basis, effective 11:59 p.m. on March 20th, 2020, and continuing until 11:59 p.m. on April 3rd, 2020. Subject to extension thereafter based on the status of COVID-19 in Texas and the recommendations of the CDC. Order number 1. In accordance with the guidelines from the President and the CDC, every person in Texas shall avoid social gatherings in groups of more than 10 people. Number 2. In accordance with the guidelines from the President and the CDC, people shall avoid eating or drinking at bars, restaurants, and food courts, or visiting gyms or massage parlors, provided, however, that the use of drive-through pickup or delivery options is allowed and highly encouraged throughout the limited duration of this executive order. Order number 3. In accordance with the guidelines from the President and the CDC, people shall not visit nursing homes or retirement or long-term care facilities unless to provide critical assistance. Order number 4. In accordance with the guidelines from the CDC and the President, schools shall temporarily close. This executive order does not prohibit people from visiting a variety of places, including grocery stores, gas stations, parks, and banks, so long as the necessary precautions are maintained to reduce the transmission of COVID-19. The executive order does not mandate sheltering in place. All critical infrastructure will remain operational. Domestic travel will remain unrestricted, and government entities and businesses will continue providing essential services. For offices and workplaces that remain open, employees should practice good hygiene and, where feasible, work from home in order to achieve optimum isolation from COVID-19. The more that people reduce their public contact, the sooner COVID-19 will be contained and the sooner this executive order will expire. This executive order supersedes all previous orders on this matter that are in conflict or inconsistent with its terms, and this order shall remain in effect and in force until 11:59 p.m. on April the 3rd, 2020. Subject to being extended, modified, amended, rescinded, or superseded by me or by a succeeding governor.